Hot on the heels of the release of the SDK for the DJI Mini 2 and Air 2S, we now have some very exciting news that the Litchi Beta is now available for the DJI Mini 2. Now, this is not just another video explaining how to use the app, it's actually pretty straightforward, and there are lots of videos out there explaining this already. Instead, this is a short video with some key advice, especially focused on new users of Litchi, now the Mini 2 works with it. I have a couple of bits of information to provide as a warning to those who have not used the app, and a couple of bits of advice also to help you in terms of the UK drone rules, one in which is a benefit and might surprise you. In fact, do let me know in the comments below if you have downloaded the Litchi app, whether or not you are an existing user who's been using it a long time or a new user, and give any tips and tricks for people starting out with the Mini 2 in particular to use this app in the beta form. The main reason a lot of people will purchase the Litchi app and pay the circa £22 price tag is to allow their Mini 2 to access features like active track or follow, whatever you want to call it. This is great, but the main reason DJI do not have this feature out of the box for the Mini 2 is obstacle avoidance. In my recent videos looking at the potential release in 2022 of a Mini 3, one upgrade we were all keen for was the addition of obstacle avoidance. Now, this isn't because we all crash our Mini 2s without it, but instead because with obstacle avoidance on a drone, you're able to have a range of automated features on the drone, such as follow me and active track, because the drone can now automatically avoid the obstacles around you, trees, poles, buildings, that type of thing. So it's my first piece of advice for new users of the Litchi with the Mini 2. There is no obstacle avoidance. So rather than the usual shots of a drone moving around, dodging the trees and buildings whilst it tracks the user, the drone will simply hit anything at the same level. Hence, when you use this type of feature in the Litchi app, it will actually basically bring up a little screen that will say, hey, you're taking responsibility for the increased risk of this flight. So just take this into account when you're flying in active track type follow modes. You might also find issues in terms of the fact that there is no obstacle avoidance when you're doing waypoint missions. So my personal advice would be to ensure those waypoint missions are well within your visual line of sight so that you're able to check out how high you need to set it for, because of course it's not going to automatically avoid a tree and a pylon or anything else that you may come across within the path that you've set out. Study the map closely, have a look at the Google Maps as well, but also walk the route, have a look to see what obstacles, what issues there might be in the waypoint mission that you're setting, just so that you can set things up, particularly with that height at a level that's going to clear everything. The next bit of advice focuses on using the Litchi app with the DJI Mini 2 and DJI's attitude generally towards the use of third-party apps. There are a lot of apps out there that use a range of DJI drones and, like the Litchi app, work very well. However, especially when taken in combination with my first piece of advice around the active track having no obstacle avoidance sensors, you should be aware that DJI have confirmed to myself and other creators that the warranty on your DJI drone is void should you use a third-party app. Now, this isn't too much of an issue because how many actual warranty claims are made and what are the real chances of you needing to claim under the warranty specifically. However, they have also confirmed that even Care Refresh claims might not be covered if you were using a third-party app, as per this recent reply to Henrik over at Tech Drone Media on Twitter from DJI support. I would suggest that those crashes scrutinised more than others. There could be issues there where active track and similar have been used because the Mini 2 was not designed to use them. And remember, whenever you're doing a warranty claim or a Care Refresh claim, you will need to provide your flight logs, which will show the type of app that was being used at the time. So hopefully those two pieces of general advice for newer users of the Litchi app will help you to at least be informed. There are a couple of other tips that are worth looking at in terms of the UK drone code when using the Litchi app with the DJI Mini 2, which I'll explain very briefly. The first one is point 16 of the drone code, which in part discusses ensuring you're not distracted whilst flying a drone. This includes stating that you should not be doing any other activity whilst flying, and offers the examples of driving a car, riding a bike, messaging or calling whilst flying, or operating more drone at a time. I raise this point just as a reminder from the point of view that because we're now actually having the drone track us, it's possible that we're going to be doing other things, etc. So just be aware of this when you're using the active track and other so-called autonomous features within the Litchi app. The part of this in terms of new users of the Litchi app with the Mini 2 is to ensure you're still fully focused on the drone and in control rather than doing something like driving a car. This again is specifically important if you're using automated flight modes on a drone without obstacle avoidance sensors. You can tell a bit of a theme to my video here today, can't you? Whilst we're on the UK drone code, there's actually one point which is made just for this type of situation that gives you a little bit more freedom when used safely. At the end of the drone code, there are a few points about the less commonly known part of the rules. One of these, point 35, is aimed specifically at automated flights. It reads, some drones or model aircraft have a follow me mode. That means you can set your aircraft to follow you within a fixed distance. You do not have to keep your drone or model aircraft in direct sight when follow me mode is active and set to follow within 50 meters of you. You must still follow all other points of the drone code, of course. So you do need to follow all other points of the drone code, of course. And I cannot stress how carefully you need to be flying a drone without obstacle avoidance in follow modes. But if done safely and without people and obstacles within the same height, you can do it. It is an exciting and excellent development, frankly, and it will mean that we're heading towards a Mini 3 release in 2022. So that should be exciting as well. I will be bringing you more content soon on the Litchi app, particularly with the Air 2S, because there's a few tricks there that I think in terms of the lower end commercial work that it could help with an awful lot. So keep an eye out for that. If you're new here, subscribe. And if you're still watching this video now, hit that like button. Sean out.